So here's the secret to resolving your emotional eating. It's something that a lot of emotional eaters miss. So if you want to find out, let's dive in. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist specializing in emotional eating. And I know you're probably looking for a secret to your emotional eating, and I will give you sort of a big aha that I think is missing with a lot of emotional eaters. But there is no actual secret, one little magic bullet that's going to solve your emotional eating. But what I'm going to share with you, I think a lot of people miss, and that is emotions and actually accepting and acknowledging your emotions. If we think about it, emotional eating is about emotions. And it would seem obvious. It's right there staring in front of us, yet we're going to diets and exercise and we are doing all of these things. We're just talking about our emotions. We're not actually understanding what emotions are and why they're driving this behavior. We're not understanding this. And so then we're going to every shiny carrot that someone tells us is going to solve our emotional eating. We're doing everything but actually looking at the issue at hand. So emotional eating is a coping mechanism. It's where we use food to cope with our emotions. It doesn't mean we're resolving our emotions, we're looking at them. It means we are using food as a band-aid instead of actually meeting our true needs and looking at our emotions and moving through them. And it's not just intellectualizing your emotions. This is not about that. This is about actually accepting and acknowledging your emotions in an embodied way. We can list and name emotions and say, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, this bothered me. But how many of us actually move through our emotions? As emotional eaters, we're not doing that. What we're doing instead is going to food to cope, because we've learned to go to food to soothe from the discomfort of our emotions. So why would we do that? Well, emotions are not just words we say. It's not something we intellectualize. Emotions are actually felt in the body, and they don't begin with names. They begin with sensations. So emotions begin as sensations because our body, we are sensing the world. We're sensing our internal world, our external world, and that creates sensations in our body, like a pulsing, like a contraction, a tightness, a tension, an openness, an expansion. And all of these sensations correlate to what we would name an emotion. So these sensations are actually what is encapsulated in the name of an emotion. And these sensations, they need to be felt. We need to be aware of them and allow them to move through our nervous system, our body, so that our nervous system can go back to calm and we can hear the messages of this emotion. And so what we like to do in our society is ignore our emotions, dismiss them. When we're very young, we were probably told we were too sensitive. We were shamed to our emotions. We didn't know how to move through them. We weren't modeled how to move through them. And so we had to cope with the discomfort because these sensations are not always comfortable. Think about tension and tightness. What do we want to do? We want to relieve it. We want to, do something, take a pill, like drink something to get rid of these emotions. We don't know how to actually be with them and move through them in an embodied way. And so to simplify it, we're just putting food on top of what needs to be processed on a body level to look at these emotions. And so that really is the secret to resolving our emotional eating. But it becomes a little bit complex in the sense that when we're very young, we were probably shamed for our emotions. And so instead of us being aware of our emotions, what happens in our brain when we keep going to food to cope with our emotions is that it says, oh, okay, you're not going to feel your emotions. This is what you're going to do. You're going to eat. So without us even realizing it, we might just get triggered, emotions bubble to the surface, and we jump to food. We don't even realize we are feeling anything. And this is what's happening, and this is why it feels like we're so out of control with our emotional eating. We're not seeing the starting point, the trigger, and the trigger might not be right before you emotionally eat. It could have been building up days before. And every time that irritation or that frustration comes up, you push it away, you fight it. We really value being strong in our society, not having emotions, not being reactive. We want to be really sort of like, I want to say we want to be non-reactive and so calm and so tranquil. And honestly, the people that are so calm and so embodied and so tranquil move through their emotions and integrate them. They don't just exist in that way 24/7, but they exist that way a lot of the time because they understand the importance of emotions and the value of them. And so all of those Zen monks and like Zen enlightened spiritual people, that's what they do. They accept and acknowledge their emotions. And that's how you get to ease and peace and calm. And that's what I've noticed with myself. The more I was able to be with my emotions, move through them, meet my deep emotional needs in an embodied way, I didn't need food because food is just a band-aid. Why would I want a band-aid or something that's a substitute when I could get the real thing of meeting my true needs? And for me, I want the real thing. And I'm sure that's what you want too. You don't want to keep feeling out of control with food and seeing how it impacts your body and your life. And so we need to understand that emotions are important. And we need to start recognizing when we're feeling emotions and tracking them. And emotional eating is a great way to see where our triggers are, to start really noticing that. I've had clients that I see this so often with clients that they're like, I can't be bothered by these little things that are happening. And they sort of flick them away. And it's not about being not bothered. It's like if it irritates you and it irritates you and it irritates you, it's going to build up. And without having a way to meet those needs or process on a body level or be present with yourself on a body level to allow that emotion to run its course, whether it's a powerful emotion telling you your boundaries are being crossed, or it's triggering a childhood wound, or emotions that are telling you you're slightly uncomfortable or you need to go to the bathroom or you need a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break. The sooner you can recognize those emotions and meet those smaller needs, the less likely you're going to catapult yourself into emotional eating. So I see this happening for clients in these two ways. They're either ignoring these little emotions that are coming up and they're not taking a moment to breathe or to meet their needs or rushing through their day, or when the big triggers come up in that moment, they're going to food. So they need to recognize both of these triggers. They can be small, they can be big. Emotions are constantly happening. We're constantly feeling. We're in a body. These things are happening whether we want them to or not. And we need a way to really grasp that information and use it to our benefit, because our emotions are here to help us understand our world, understand our needs. It's guiding us to what we need. It's guiding us to giving us information about our world. It's like, that's what our intuition is created from. So if you were to walk down a dark alleyway and you had an intuition, we hear these stories of someone saying they decided not to go down that way. They just had this instinct. It's like we've been gathering information our whole lives, and that's inputted into our intuition. And in that split second, we make a decision. And so what we want to do, that's great in that situation, but we don't want to have patterns like emotional eating saying, as soon as we feel this emotion, we go towards food. We want to say, as soon as we feel this emotion, just like in that alleyway, we turned right. We want to say, we want to go in and see what's that information about us in our life, so that we are clearer and clearer and we can make in the moment decisions more and more quickly, because we're not clogged up by all of these old emotions that are still stuck in our system. That's the thing with emotions. When you don't move through them, when you push them away, they don't go anywhere. They live in your body. They are stored in your body. Your body remembers everything. And when you don't process through it, it's like a little stuck loop in your body, clogging up your intuition, clogging up your mind, clogging up your clarity. And so you can't make those decisions. And over time, this is why the diet stopped working and all of these things, because these emotions become so powerful. They take you over because you haven't been meeting your needs to clear them out, to reset your system, to calm, to have capacity to make empowered choices. And so that's what's going on. And so with the emotional eating pattern, we need to get into those emotions. And so this is a big component inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program. This is the program that I guide my clients through, the process I guide my clients through, step by step, teaching them and giving them the tools they would have needed at a younger age to not have developed this coping mechanism. So here we're going back and meeting your true needs for modeling of how to be with your emotions, recognizing them, seeing your pattern, and then actually getting into the body, meeting those deeper emotional needs, processing them. And so when we don't process our emotions, we don't move through them, when they remain unresolved, that is a trauma in our body that creates trauma. And so trauma is not a scary word. It just means we have emotional work to do. We have to meet those deeper needs. And it's not forever. And this process is not about, if you've had a very traumatic past, about cleaning up all of your trauma. It will give you the tools, but there are specific events tied into your emotional eating pattern. And if that is your focus, that is all the things tied to your emotional eating pattern, all those unresolved events and traumas are what we work on. Those are the triggers we're working on. And so that's going to help you get to the other side of your emotional eating. And that really is the biggest secret, because most of us walk around thinking we're so intelligent, and most of my clients are very intelligent, because when you're an emotional eater and you are told that something's wrong with your emotions and you disconnect from them, you disconnect from your body. Your emotions live in your body, and you become very intellectual. You intellectualize things. You're probably super smart. You have a lot of capacity. I'm the same way as well. But to make that even more powerful is attaching that to your body and moving through your emotions, because at some point, those emotions clog up your clarity and your mind and your intelligence. You need them to work together. And so the body is so powerful. It's running your emotional eating pattern. You can't think your way out of your emotions. You can't intellectualize your way and talk about your emotions and your history and your past. That's not going to resolve this pattern. We need an embodied way of moving through these emotions and getting to the other side. And that requires specific tools and processes. And so, like I said, this is a big component inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program, along with true nourishment and body acceptance. And so that's what you need to get to the other side. That is going to be your secret in your back pocket. That's how I view everything for emotional eating. That's the lens I view it through, and that's what I teach my clients to view it through as well. So if you have any questions about what I've shared today, let me know. And if you want to dive in and start seeing your pattern around your emotional eating, I'd love to invite you to download my free guide called What Are You Truly Hungry For? This guide's going to teach you how to discern true from emotional hunger, so you can start catching your pattern, catching your triggers, and start seeing what's really going on. If you want to get to the root of this pattern and resolve it in a sustainable way so you can get to ease and peace and confidence around food and in your body, then I'd love for you to find out more about the Emotional Eating Evolution program. This is my 12-week container with the step-by-step process, the support, the guidance, the coaching, and the in-depth tools to shift this pattern on an embodied level. This is what's going to move the needle for you in this pattern and get you to that place where you're no longer using food as a band-aid or food to soothe. So you can find out more at the links below. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.